Hello, I'm Jarna Hector. Welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. Stay with us for details on Global Entrepreneurship Week, which begins next Monday. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit speaking on the real meaning of development in Dominica, and the Charlotte Nursery pays a visit to GIS in honor of Early Childhood Month.
The facts as they are, brought to you every day, only on GIS Channel 7.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
Why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Welcome back to National Focus. One local group in Dominica has its focus on saving the environment by spending 1 million hours planting trees around the island. The million-hour tree planting project, headed by Rhoda St. John, was active last Monday on Community Day of Service. Plants were transported to various neighborhoods and proper planting techniques were overseen. St. John described the work of the million-hour tree planting project on site in Casa Bruce.
The project came about by applying for grant funding on the Jeff Small Grant, and through Jeff Small Grant we got some funding that we are able to plant trees across Dominica to help to protect and conserve the environment through climate change. Now what has happened is that one of the criteria on the Jeff is that we match their funding in both cash and kind, and we have been able to do that with our very good sponsors such as Lime Dominica Limited, Dominica Social Security, National Bank of Dominica Limited, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Rosalie Bay Resort, Dominica Solid Waste, with many other persons who saw the need to protect the environment, and they did come on board as partners. We have the Forestry Division, who is also a partner with us under this project, together with local government authority, the Environment Coordinating Unit, and many other persons who saw the need to protect the environment.
Official at the Forestry Division, McKeith George, explained how the tree planting project worked on National Day of Community Service.
We have 11 constituencies covered, communities to cover. We started in Portsmouth, so we're going along the East Coast, way back to Soufriere, so Casa Bruce is one of them, so we end up in Casa Bruce right now.
Rhoda St. John, who is the project's leader, told the public how they can help protect the environment through the million-hour tree planting project.
Persons who wanted to plant and be part of the project would give us a call at 295-9540. And once you want to be part of the project, once you want to protect your environment, once you want to work towards climate change, you give us a call. We come to your area, we see what tree, where you want to plant, and we assess the area as to what trees, where, and everything like that. So the community has called us. We came up during the whole of this week. Well, last week, looked at where they wanted to plant, what to plant, and then we made the plants available. They picked them up, and now we are going through the communities to make sure that our hours are recorded. We're taking photos for documentation purposes so that at the end of the day, everything is properly done.
The million-hour tree planting project engages youth volunteers to reduce the land degradation and build resilience to climate change. The project is grant-funded by Generation of Opportunities through the GEF Small Grants Program. The project is expected to log 1 million hours, planting over 200,000 trees within a year. And the halls and studios of GIS was overrun with Charlotte Nursery students on Thursday morning as they got acquainted with the workings of news production. As part of Early Childhood Month in November, the young learners are visiting various media houses while learning about communication. Other activities for the month include a national symposium on November 28th to honor early childhood educators, Family Focus Week from November 19th to 23rd, various sporting activities, and Universal Children's Day, in which children will dress in career outfits. The final activity for Early Childhood Education Month is a fun day at the beach planned for all teachers and caregivers on November 30th. Administrator at Charlotte Nursery, Glenda Bertrand, spoke with us about Early Childhood Education Month.
This month is declared Early Childhood Education Month. Normally it used to be in June, but they have switched. June is now transition month and November is Early Childhood Education Month. It's a month where we create an awareness, the community, the parents, the children, and the institutions that we visit, that they know that the base is early child education, and whatever damage we do now, it will the effect will come on the children. So all we have to do now is instill positive values, positive actions, positive ways in the children, so they, in the future they can be positive citizens.
The 61 students of the nursery were enthusiastic about singing a few songs that would be aired for all to see.
So let's just praise the Lord. Right hand, left hand, right foot, left foot, heads up, heads down, turn around. Our Father Abraham, I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord.
The Charlotte Nursery has been in operation for 40 years. This was their third visit to our studios. In more news, Prime Minister of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, has told the nation that one should not measure the country's growth only by new infrastructure. The Prime Minister delivered a rousing speech about patriotism at the National Independence Day Parade on November 3rd. He listed a number of physical upgrades accomplished by his government.
It would seem that as a people, we may have fallen into the global trap of gauging and perceiving progress and development through the materialistic eye. In response, I could boast this morning about the great strides we are making on the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the island's main roads, particularly since the recruitment of local contractors to assist in the completion of the Roseau to Melville Road project and recently completed Edward Oliver Libler Highway and the Point Michel City Fence project. I could point as well to the spectacular State House currently under construction, or the continuing work at the community level to improve road surfaces, expand utility services, and generally upgrade the living conditions of many of our citizens all over the island. Fellow Dominicans, were I to point to emerging designs for a new state-of-the-art hospital, I would be applauded. I would be congratulated as well if I spoke of the emphasis we have placed on early childhood education and our most ambitious goal to attain universal tertiary education, of the enhanced learning facilities at the Dominica State College, and the strides we are making at the primary and secondary levels to prepare our children for the life that lies ahead. I could use this occasion to remind you of the special fund access windows we put in place at institutions like the Aid Bank, the National Bank of Dominica, and the Dominica Youth Business Trust for the nurturing of small enterprises, or of our quick response mechanisms in the aftermath of hurricanes and storms, to assist in particular our farmers, fishermen, and vendors. Then there is the record of tremendous advances we have made in the area of housing, reflected in the hundreds of families who now own a roof over their heads as a result of the enlightened policies of your government.
Honorable Skerrit went on to speak of his government's foreign policy and the benefits that Dominica enjoys because of it.
Fellow Dominicans, our progressive foreign policy has seen us establishing diplomatic relations with scores of countries around the world and developing very close ties with nations that have demonstrated genuine friendship and a keen interest in the forward movement of Dominica. Some of these countries are represented here this morning, and I would wish to thank them once again for the continued support of our efforts.
Despite all of those moves, says the Honorable Prime Minister, he sees the advancement of the Dominican people as real development.
These are all areas of achievements that the government could point to as reflective of the strides that have been made even in the midst of the worst global economic recession known to modern man. But if I were to remain in this mode of material accomplishment, at what time would we as a people pause to muse upon our true blessings as a nation? When would we reflect upon our human development achievements individually and collectively? Dominica is today a country for proud and unique identity.
The Prime Minister's speech also celebrated a few Dominicans who he believes are representing the island well, like Director-elect of PAHO, Dr. Carissa Etienne, West Indies cricketer Shane Shillingford, and regionally acclaimed historian Dr. Lennox Honeychurch. In other news, PAHO's Director-elect, Dr. Carissa Etienne, has given congratulatory remarks to the ongoing efforts of the Dominica Rotary Club. She was the featured speaker at the Rotary Club of Dominica's annual charter dinner last week.
When I think about the Rotary Club of Dominica, and I learned today that you celebrate your 38th anniversary, I could not help but consider the great contribution that this club has done, not only in Dominica, but at the international level.
Dr. Etienne spoke about the current state of polio and the ongoing efforts to eradicate the disease.
As I sit in WHO, the Rotary International is very involved in the quest for the eradication of polio. And the eradication of polio is eluding us. It is eluding us because in countries like Nigeria and recently countries like Pakistan, that we were still having pockets where we could not reach the population with immunization. And this is also tied up with many of their cultural factors. However, we are relentlessly, as WHO, partnering with Gates Foundation and partnering with Rotary International. We are hoping that we will be able eventually to eradicate polio. And this would be one of the greatest achievements of our time.
A Dutch auction fundraiser for the eradication of polio also formed part of the annual charter dinner. Also at that dinner, Rotarian Marie-José was recognized for being an excellent role model in Rotary and professional life.
I enjoyed Rotary, and as I said, I love my Rotary family, mostly for the friendship and the work we do to help humanity. It's a wonderful experience, and we hope we can get other persons to work with us in that.
Several partners in service were recognized during the event. And finally, next Monday we'll see the commencement of Global Entrepreneurship Week, when Dominica will join over 100 other countries in observing the event. First observed in 2008 in the US and UK, Global Entrepreneurship Week, or GEW, aims to fashion young people into business operators who will develop creative ideas that will change the world. Dominica's Youth Business Trust in the Ministry of Youth Affairs will be hosting the 3rd annual GEW. Various public and private sector organizations, as well as regional and international groups, have partnered with the Ministry of Youth Affairs to coordinate a week of activities. The week begins with a Youth Entrepreneurship Forum at the Dominica State College. Minister for Youth Affairs, Honorable Justina Charles, details the week.
During the week, the Dominica Youth Business Trust will partner with the State College, where they will organize and give more information to persons to read the whole entrepreneurship program that exists within the department and how they can access it and how they can take advantage of it.
According to the minister, there will also be a grand trade show on Thursday, November 15th.
Persons who've done the program and who've started their businesses will be showcasing the work that they are doing. And we have persons who have been assisted in various areas. We have persons who've done sewing, we've done persons who have done the soap manufacturing, different arts and craft product, and quite a bit of areas. And so these persons will be showcasing the work that they've done and will probably give a little promotion to their own business.
Minister Charles explained the importance of training youth for self-employment.
It is known that unemployment is one of the biggest problems of our young persons. And we realize that the government is not able, not just in Dominica, but it's a global issue where governments cannot and will never be able to engage all the young persons. And so the private sector has been doing its share. And so we want to create an opportunity where the young persons can get some training, can start their own businesses, where they can be gainfully employed, and they in turn can employ other persons into those businesses. And so all of those will add to the whole economic growth of the country.
She called on Dominicans to lend their support to the efforts of young people attempting to do well.
We would really want the general public to support the young persons and to support those businesses, because while they do the training and they open the businesses, they require the support of the general public in order that they can sustain their businesses. So we really want to call on the general public to give support to the local products that our young persons are engaged in.
And that's the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole, non moins c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, travail qui prend place pour réhabilitation chemin lagon en Gontans. Parole cela sorti en membre parlement, Honorable Reginald Ostring. Si l'on Honorable Ostring, on a l'occasion qui tape attention.
Nous déjà ni $250,000, $250,000 pour faire drain dans lagon, parce que comme ça, lagon c'est une place qui est en bas de l'eau. Et on est pour faire drain là bon, pour faire ça, parce que in the 1980s, Freedom Party essayait de faire dans lagon, mais nous pas fait bien comme ça, l'eau là a still dormi en dalle là, comme ça nous le maingouin qui a affecté mon lagon. Et nous allons faire ça, mais nous allons faire en professional way pour faire ça que l'eau là ça couille, que l'eau là pas qui dormi en dalle là. Et moi a souhaité que projet ça là qui commence avant finissement l'année là. Nous aussi on pont pour nous faire de la usine en gota, c'est un pont nous faire là. Mais encore il fait trop bas comme ça depuis la ville la descend, l'eau la jambé pont là, et fait monde passe à les gota. Gota comme ça c'est l'autre pont nous fait un pont neuf là et nous déjà ni l'argent là pour ça et moi dit que ça qui commence et va finir avant finissement l'année ça là. Quand on y a l'autre projet, on l'eau m'a voulu dire ça à présent parce que mon c'est politique, ma politique. Moi je suis un monde qui est practical. Et ma dit mon ça m'a pas bayo. Si moi pas ça fait, moi que dis moi pas ça fait. Si moi dis moi qu'aller faire, moi qu'aller faire. Comme ça moi c'est déposer ça là. Dans là la avec chimé là et pont là derrière la Rosine, nous allons faire ça et va finir avant finissement l'année ça là.
D'autres nouvelles, Conseil culturel Dominique fait présentation award pour 5 Dominicains pendant la célébration culturelle gala à 6 journées indépendantes. Parole cela sorti du chef comité indépendant Raymond Lawrence.
Nous tenons 5 awards à la gala. Nous tenons Luba Ioli Black Trophy à Pierre Charles Secondary School parce que vous avez toujours participé dans les affaires culturelles. Vous avez participé dans CXC, dans un sujet qui est le Theatre Arts. Tous les étudiants qui ont participé à la CXC, ça là, ils passé l'examination, ça là, comme c'est dit, complimenter Pierre Charles Secondary School pour taper Ioli Black Trophy. Nous avons aussi des jeunes garçons, Young Artist Awards, John T. Paul et Sifroy John. The Nuba OC Wilfred Pancho Don Baptist or Lifetime Achievement Award. The OC Nuba Damas Challenger Hot Casabros or Lifetime Achievement Award OC. Toutes ces awards sala nous te présentons à Cultural Gala l'année sala.
Moi nous comité attention à l'éducation des enfants à preschool. Plaisir l'école c'était Négiola, catching diverses activités pour ces enfants-là. L'école des enfants Charlotte Nursery visiter GIS à Simen Sala.
Nous avons visité GIS. Nous là, à moi verser l'école l'école là. Nous avons célébré Early Child Education Month. Ça c'est un mois pour tout le monde, c'est tout le monde qui a visité différentes places. Nous voulons connaître la place comme GIS, ces bagailles, TV avec télécommunication. Nous voulons connaître. Semaine ça, nous avons visité place qui a fait nous connaître ce qui a fait à la terre avec Dominique. So nous hier nous à Voice of Life. Aujourd'hui nous GIS. Demain nous allons mapping. So nous allons toutes ces places là. Avec l'autre jour semaine qui a venu nous allons chronicle. So nous allons toutes places qui a baillé nouvelles qui fait connaître nouvelles qui a fait à la terre.
Et puis finalement, tout long semaine, ça nous continuons à mener participation au service national l'année 2012. En nous a présent mené dernier aspect, l'occasion nous de visiter notre pays là. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Ni un bon week-end. Voilà.
Thank you, McPherson. Let's now join Pearl Fontaine with this week's edition of Flashback.
Thank you, Jarna, and welcome to Flashback. In the news this week, the community of Bioche hosted the 5th annual Eat Fish Day. A variety of fish dishes were on display, including dishes from the Venezuelan and Cuban embassies and the Haitian community, all in an effort to highlight the importance of eating fish. We took a look at scenes from Dominica's Independence Day Parade, which was staged at the Windsor Park Stadium last weekend. The Prime Minister delivered his 9th annual address, while the President, His Excellency Eliud Williams, presided over his first Independence Day Parade as head of state. Also in the news this week, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit announced that Dominica is on its way to sign a new finance agreement with France to further the island's geothermal energy pursuits. And GIS News brought you full coverage of National Day of Community Service across the island. The Eden and Amelia Memorial Foundation made a $1 million book donation to the Ministry of Education this week. The Rotary Club of Dominica celebrated their partners in service at their annual charter dinner, and those were the headlines which made the news this week. Back to you, Jarna.
Thanks, Pearl. Stay tuned for the tip of the day.
Let your spirit take to flight. Let your heart run free and wild. Find your soul in Dominica, the nature isle.
Our tip today is a quote that advises you to get to know yourself and what you want out of life. Napoleon the Great once said, "The world has a habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going." And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Or you could visit our GIS Dominica pages on both YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.